It's time for Did You Watch It?
How does this show work? We watch what we like, we talk about what we watch, and maybe you'll like what you hear. I'm Liz.
And I'm Neil. Last night we watched the Women Tell All episode of The Bachelor, Season 19. The show aired on Monday, March 2nd, 2015. Here's what we thought about it. Fearless host made me throw up in my mouth again.
He's doing that a lot to you. What's going on?
Yes, he is. The craziest, most unpredictable, most shocking season we've ever had.
Right? And I think even he's getting sick of hearing himself say that because he says it with the smirk and smug smile.
But this is exactly why they don't release past seasons on DVD or streaming, because then we'd all say, well, what about this season? And well, what about this season was way worse. In the first 2.5 minutes of this show, I believe he said the word history 6 times.
He did. And after our last show, when you said that and made reference to that, I was, my ears were like, doing, and I heard it too. And I'm like, really? Dude, please stop talking about it.
As far as the viewing parties.
Oh my God, hilarious.
Just for the record, you are not crashing a party if the cameraman is already inside to film your entrance.
Well, was the cameraman inside on all of them?
On the first one.
Okay.
Not officially a crash. The one where they were having corn salad, corn muffins.
I know, but I loved the whole theme and they just went all out. Okay, so would it surprise you to know that I have actually had a Bachelor viewing party at my house in my lifetime?
Not at all. Note to the woman who walked up and kissed Farmer on the lips while he was doing his cutaway.
Oh my God, right?
If it doesn't work for John Travolta, it damn sure don't work for you. So let's meet the heifers.
Yes.
That decided to show up. So we had Nikki, Trina, Julia, Tara, Amber, Megan, Samantha, Jordan, Ashley S., Jillian, Kelsey, Britt, Mackenzie, Ashley I, Jade, Carly, and Kaitlyn. So they're not all heifers.
Okay, so not all 30 were there?
No.
I thought it was the whole cast. I didn't count them up.
Is 17 like the standard number?
No, I don't remember because I thought everybody was there.
Last Women Tell All, there were 17.
Okay.
This Women Tell All, there were 17.
It's got to be the girls that had the most camera time and were the most noteworthy.
Yeah, which is why Nikki got called first, because she just made the cut.
Oh, God.
It was one thing to watch the highlights during the season.
Okay.
But to see it all in a row like that.
Right.
Really caused me to question my sanity. It was really hard to watch it all again, like without a break.
Well, it was all condensed and a lot of it was the really crazy stuff because they want to broadcast that, of course, in the Women Tell All. But yeah, it was seeing it like that kind of made you realize, holy crap.
What am I doing with my life? Britt's question to Carly is a typical girl mistake. She asked Carly, why did you pretend to be my friend the whole time? No. Sorry, Britt. Note to Britt, a better question would be, what changed your opinion of me?
Yeah.
Yeah, when you walked in, everything's all cool and yeah, I'm your friend, until you act crazy.
Well, but I loved Carly's answer, right? She said, it wasn't until I started to mistrust you that things changed for me. And I totally get that.
Exactly. And then while Britt and Carly are doing the whole back and forth, there's Fearless Host just sitting there like, yeah, bitches, that's what we like. Yeah. Woo! Sitting there like the captain ate the canary.
It was getting heated and everybody was jumping in and, well, what, it was out of control.
Britt made the first appearance in the hot seat. To Britt's defense and credit, I will agree with her assessment of the instantaneous nature of their attraction, as evidenced by the first impression rose and the fact that you, my dear, did not have a problem with their first kiss coming so
because
soon.
The chemistry was palpable. I mean, you could see it, you could feel it. You were watching them like totally be giddy with each other right from the get-go.
And then when things started to heat up between her and Carly, then Jillian had to bump up with the roid rage.
Oh my God, right?
And come to Britt's defense
I was going to ask you if that was seriously roid rage, because it was like the veins in her neck and her arms were like sticking out.
Oh, yeah. And no black rectangles. During this whole section, 2 glaring observations that I was able to make.
Okay.
The first one is that Britt is this season's Claire.
Absolutely.
Because it's like the room was almost evenly divided between those that liked Britt and those that thought that she was a stanky liar.
As far stanky to boot. As far as the audience, you mean?
Everybody.
Yeah.
She had some supporters in the house
She did,
as well.
when she was looking over at them with her rumpled up mouth going, thank you. Thank you for supporting me. I'm sorry, but those tears were like, that was a fake cry. There were no tears. There were tears for like 2 seconds.
Wait, who, Britt?
Yes.
No sale. Britt was crying. I'm going to give her that. Kelsey, on the other hand, we're going to deal with her ass later.
Yeah.
The second observation that I made was that Kaitlyn was uncharacteristically silent during this exchange, which just adds fuel to the fire that she will be the next Bachelorette, because she is in the house to serve a purpose at this point. See, she has to voice her feelings of betrayal at the hands of Chris.
Yeah.
And she has to convince Bachelor Nation that she has not closed herself to the possibility of finding love.
Well, she did have a few comments to say. She did jump in a little bit and kind of agree with what some people were saying. She just wasn't all up in everybody's face like Jillian was.
Not during Britt's piece. I mean, the camera went to her a lot, but she wasn't saying anything.
Huh.
Yeah, we saw her, but it wasn't the Kaitlyn that you and I know.
Okay.
She had to be on her best behavior. It's
all
like,
right.
Girl, you're sitting here for a purpose, so don't mess up.
How'd you like Britt's explanation of, the discrepancies and the, one thing in front of your face and another thing behind your back? I thought it was just BS.
I thought a good portion of it was BS, but there were things in there that could possibly be true. She's still a girl, as far as I'm concerned.
And she still lied, and she still stinks.
The whole exchange about what she was saying about Arlington.
Uh-huh.
Could she see herself there? And once again, that initial shock.
Yeah.
Once you get there, and the city's only like 2 blocks long. And it's like, so is this the city outside the city? Where's the rest of the city? Yeah, I don't know.
So you bought that?
I didn't buy it, but I wasn't willing to just immediately dismiss it, because I figured that I would have far more things that were going to be much easier to dismiss later.
Okay. Here's my take. I feel like the Women Tell All, there's so much coaching that goes on as to how they articulate what went wrong or what other people see in them kind of thing, that I think this was Britt having kind of a rehearsed answer for everything. Because I still don't believe her. I mean, I loved all the stuff she said about the stuff she does with kids and all that. But working with kids and having a bunch of kids and being out in the middle of nowhere on a farm are 2 totally different things.
I agree.
You know how I feel. I've worked with kids before. It's awesome. Do I want to take them home with me? No.
I work with them so I can give them back.
Exactly. They're other people's kids. OPK. And I can deal with them for like an hour or 2. But then I get to go home to my peace and quiet. I just didn't buy what she had to say at all.
I was definitely in the camp of, she's a stanky liar.
Because she is a stanky liar. Come on.
But then they go to commercial and they leave the cameras running. And I really don't know if she knew that the cameras were still on.
Well, she probably didn't. I believe that was the producers doing that, and that was a candid moment. But what she was saying, I can see where she thinks on her end what she was saying was true. She's saying, I didn't know anything was going to happen. And then all of a sudden, right after Carly said what she said, things changed. Because in her view, she thought she was talking a good game and she had him bamboozled, basically.
Exactly.
Right? And so then the jig is up and she gets found out. So that's what I kind of made of that whole thing.
And then we sit Britt's ass down and we get to Kelsey. Kelsey. The gift that keeps on giving.
She does, right?
Oh my God! I know this is Chris's love story, but this is my love story too.
Oh, gosh.
See? Once again, demanding to share the spotlight. First the obituary, now on national television.
Yeah. I mean, if somebody else would have said that a little bit differently, it would have been kind of cute. But the fact that she said it, the way she said it, it was like, girl, please.
Ooh. Yeah, and did you notice that the lower third said guidance counselor?
Yes, I did see that.
During this whole segment, Kelsey was working way too hard to cry. Doing the whole Susan Smith dry cry.
Well, and the sniffling, too.
Yeah.
I mean, when you're sniffling and crying, I'm sorry, it's coming out. It's coming out the nose. It's coming out the eyes. You can't stop it.
I want to see some glisten before I listen.
It was.
That's my.
Oh my God.
Because I'm tired of these fake crying heifers. It's just insulting.
If it really is emotional and it's really been this experience for you, then show that.
Yeah.
But don't do it just to try to get sympathy on camera and then you look like you're faking it. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Even the other widow in the room is throwing shade at her.
Right?
Julia is looking at her like, bitch, please.
It was bad. And everybody was chiming in, kind of saying the same thing. Her whole defending of it, the whole it's a great story thing and her defense of that, I'm sorry, that was totally rehearsed.
I mean, even Tara, sober Tara, had to take some pretty deep breaths while Kelsey was spouting her bullshit. She's just like, oh my God.
She was just shaking her head. I know. Yeah.
No, fearless host told us to be quiet. We can't say anything yet.
Oh, and I loved that when everybody was chiming in and Chris is like, they're like, can we say something? Can we? And he's like, no, you can't.
I got some one-day contracts to distribute.
All right.
I'm giving Ashley I a one-day woman contract for raising her hand when Kelsey tried to say that she didn't think that she was better than anyone in the house.
Oh, yeah, right?
I'm giving Julia a one-day woman contract because she was the first one to speak up when Fearless Host said, okay, you guys can chime in. I just want to say that I have never met any woman so fake in her entire life.
Yeah. Well, and the fact that she called her fake and calculating and condescending, I thought that was right on the money.
Yeah.
There's nothing Kelsey could say about that.
Julia gets a one-day woman contract.
I hear you.
And I'm giving Megan a one-day fence contract for calling Kelsey on overplaying the whole grief card thing, okay? If you were grieving, I just don't understand why you were on the show in the first place. Damn, you may not know your states, but you just hung that heifer out to dry.
Right? Yeah. No, the ladies, can I call them ladies? Is that okay with you?
Yep.
The ladies spoke some real truth here. I mean, they just didn't cut her any slack and...
No, and they shouldn't have. My opinion, Kelsey doesn't get to chastise Ashley I for accusing her of not having a dead husband. Was it wrong? Yeah, absolutely. But was it understandable that she did it? Yeah, absolutely.
Totally, based on what we saw. And I loved that Ashley I, you know, the whole you're here, I'm here thing. She brought that out. And Kelsey tried to explain that away and say that she was sorry, but Ashley's like saying, well, yeah, I don't accept, basically.
Hell with it. I'm giving Ashley I a weekend woman contract. You
nice.
Go to town, girl. You go to town, girl.
I loved the face she was giving us through the whole show. Like, it was so expressive. I loved it.
Now, Kelsey, that was some dry crying.
No, there were no tears. It was like, you know, the sniffing and all that stuff, but there was nothing to sniff. Like, everything was perfectly dry.
It was dry. I didn't hear any rattling or any kind of things getting drawn up or whatever. No, it was crap. It was absolute crap. After Kelsey, we had the elephant in the room, Ashley S. I have only one thing to say.
Okay.
Did I call it or did I call it?
Oh, totally.
At 13 minutes and 50 seconds of episode 2 of Bachelor season 19, I said that regardless of all the craziness and her obvious dissociative episodes, don't be surprised if she shows up on Bachelor in Paradise this summer.
Of course.
And what did Fearless Host do during the show? Oh, can you please come on Bachelor in Paradise?
Please. Can you please join us?
Come on.
You know, and then she didn't answer, like she didn't have any idea, and like that was a total surprise. Really?
Oh, of course, because, she'll be there.
Well, you know they're already start filming already.
No, they haven't started filming that yet.
Oh, they haven't?
They have to wait until Bachelorette starts filming.
Oh, okay.
Because remember, they got to get some of the guys.
Oh, yeah, that's true.
That shooting schedule ain't that long. It's like 2 weeks.
Thank God.
Yeah, really. Jade got her turn in the hot seat.
See, and when we get to this point, this was the part that was interesting to me. The rest of the show was interesting to me. This first part was just stupid.
Jade is still a woman in my book.
Well, I liked the fact that she kind of put it all out there. Not only when she was talking to Chris Harrison, but when she was talking to Chris too. And saying that she opened up at the pace that she could in the time that she could. And she just didn't get why, you know, he wasn't honest with her in the moment. And I'm sorry, you know I'm a huge Farmer Chris fan. But some of his answers in this last part of the show, I was like, horrible. I mean, how must those girls feel hearing that? It was a dart in the dark as to who he was going to pick.
Note to Kaitlyn, I feel you, woman.
Right.
Okay? When he said Whitney's name, I knew that was it, and that was wrong.
It was so sad. And when she said she was really confused, I felt like her time with Chris Harrison was the most real of anybody in the show yesterday.
And you know why?
I just felt like she just put it all out there.
Once again, she had to voice her feelings of betrayal at the hands of Chris. And she has to convince Bachelor Nation that she has not closed herself to the possibility of finding love.
I appreciated her being so articulate and specific about how she felt, because she really was crushed. She really was speechless. Remember, I was saying she didn't say a thing. And the whole blindsided thing, going into it feeling as confident as she did and having it turn out the way it did, I'm glad she said all of that.
Then it's Farmer's turn in the hot seat.
This was not good. Talk about squirmy.
Fearless host opened it up to Britt to get her licks in or whatever.
So to speak. Was that the longest hug ever?
Oh, God. You know, maybe she took a shower. Who knows? Anyway, so I have to give Farmer props for owning and accepting the decision about Britt and not letting her shift blame to Carly.
I respected that too. And I really believed him when he said that.
When he was talking to Kaitlyn and there was that question, that darts in a dartboard reference.
That was so hurtful. I'm like, dude, I don't care how hard it is for you to find words. You had some time to prepare for Women Tell All. Do not use that reference.
I call bullshit on that.
It's horrible. It just downplays everything.
But then again, I am not trying to downplay his role in this nonsense. But if I was to look at the possibilities, I can make a reasonable argument for him keeping Kaitlyn and Becca and sending Whitney home because of her job and or the fact that her sister wouldn't give her blessing.
Well, and because of what he said about her, that he was still unsure.
And the fact that she hadn't seen Arlington yet.
All of that made sense.
A boatload of reasons why I can make that argument to send Whitney home. I can make a reasonable argument to send Becca home because of the whole sister and the mother talking about the whole intimacy issues shit.
Needing to test drive.
And dropping the damn news while she's in the suite.
Yeah.
It's like, bitch, you could have told me this earlier.
It's so bad.
Not get my hopes up. I'm just saying.
Primed and ready.
But the thing is that I can't make a reasonable argument for sending Kaitlyn home, looking back at their hometown date, looking back at the fantasy suite, unless I directly involve the producers in the equation.
It's just zero. It makes zero sense.
And once you bring the producers in, then it starts to make sense.
That they told him who to pick? No, I'm sorry. I still can't believe that.
You can't tell me that Becca thing was spontaneous. There's no way that he just decided, can I talk to you?
No, I think it was Becca? Spontaneous.
No.
Because they had the conversation in the morning, and he just wanted to be sure. Yeah, I think he just needed reassurance.
Reassurance for what?
Whether or not he was going to pick her.
He just needed a reason not to. And I'm sorry, if you're at the point where you need a reason not to, you shouldn't. I didn't have a problem with Jade's questions or Farmer's answers to Jade's questions until we get to the awkward question.
Yeah.
Note to Jade, if you Google the word awkward, the first definition is causing difficulty or hard to do or deal with, which I absolutely believe is an accurate description of the two of you sitting there looking at pictures and video of your chachis and your hoo-hoo.
Oh my gosh. That is uber awkward.
The second definition is causing or feeling embarrassment or inconvenience, which I also believe accurately describes your entire experience on the show. So for that reason, the word awkward in his blog is more than applicable and adequately appropriate.
Totally. I can't imagine how he was feeling in that very moment. What's he going to say? No, I don't want to see him? Like, it's just weird. But I believed her when she said, we both decided together to look at him. I totally believe that.
Yeah. I want to see. I wouldn't mind seeing, but it's definitely something that I'm not accustomed to, especially in a town with a population of 420.
And especially with the girls sitting right next to me as I'm looking at those pictures with her.
Right? I mean, our stores aren't even open long enough for me to get
that
Playboy.
That is the definition of awkward.
Right? This is a difficult watch all around.
It was. But we left out my favorite.
You go.
Bloopers.
Yeah.
My favorite thing about the whole season is watching the crazy stuff that happens.
And how was it for you?
You didn't watch it?
I watched it, but I was already a bloody mess on the pavement.
Oh my gosh.
By the time we get to this, I was just glad it was over.
I loved all the clips of him laughing and then cut to the dolphin.
Okay, that was funny.
It was perfect.
But other than that,
I was ready for it to be over.
So next week, as per usual, I don't care.
What do you think? Who do you think it's going to be?
I don't know. I've gotten to the point where I don't care.
Wow. And there's sincerity in your eyes right now. I can see it.
Yeah.
You sincerely do not care.
Like I said last week, if he had just said you, and that would have been it.
Get in the car.
Yeah, not even get in the car, but it's like if he had just picked the two and that would have been it, that's fine. But the fact that he carted Becca out and had a little chit-chat with her in the middle of the rose ceremony, okay, it's like, I'm done.
Yeah, that happens, though. Many a person has done it.
Really?
Yeah.
So there's a precedent for this.
Well, not a precedent, but it happens at some point with some decision in the show. I'm sorry, can you do that again? It's just so cute.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
It's better than the whole... That's our time for today. You can follow us on Twitter at @DidTheLetterU.Watch.It. You can also find us at iTunes. Let us know what you think. Thank you for listening.